Hello, it's News It or Lose It again. Monday, April the 4th. We're having winter like weather in many parts of the country with cold and dampness and clouds still around, but we'll get through it. Sometimes the winter weather is longer than other seasons, as we know, so like anything else, we just deal with it. Okay, some news highlights of the day. One important message I need to say to everybody is you better get involved in politics because things are really getting crucial with the social culture fights. For example, the battle in Florida with Ron DeSantis, the governor, versus Disney. Better find out what's going on there and decide what you want. The debt is, we're right around 30 trillion. The new Biden budget's supposed to drop it by 1 trillion. I'm not sure whether it will. But we get to 35 trillion, our currency is going to be worth a lot less. We're already on the sink right now as far as sinking. And we have there's mostly every economist out there is talking about inflation and how high that inflation number will stay. The Biden administration just released 1 million barrels from the strategic reserve, which is supposed to be for emergencies, to bring the price down, probably for the elections. The price of gas has come down a little bit, but it's not a long-term fix. So there's a lot going on. Obviously, we're going to have to support Ukraine in the war efforts. Continue to do that. The White House is saying they're going to continue to support the war effort, of course, but we're going to have to arm Ukraine with a lot of weapons, NATO and the U.S., in order to have them hold their country. Because Russia is a country of 144 million. Ukraine had 40, just 40. They have 40. They had 44. Now they're down to 44 million that fled. So they're going to fight it out. So Russia has a larger population, a lot more weapons, and it's going to take time. And the U.S. and NATO has better weapons than the Russian weapons. And of course, the Ukrainian soldiers are much better equipped now and have a much stronger will to fight. They have a reason to fight, to protect their homeland. And they're doing a great job. But I believe a lot of the civilian casualties could have been stopped with the addition of the MiGs, the Su-300 air defense systems, which oversee the MiGs, and tanks, which would knock out and continue to push the Russians out of the country. And the Ukrainians want to push the Russians out of the eastern occupied part of their country, which has been occupied by the Russians since 2014, the Donetsk and the Donbas region. So the attack, there's also some cyber attacks that hit, they're saying today on the news, to hit U.S. companies. One was an airport. The airport operation was back up and running. It wasn't down for very long, apparently, and it didn't affect any plane travel. But that's real big news. The name of the outfit that's doing it, it's called KILLNET, K-I-L-L-N-E-T. So there were two cyber attacks that were thwarted during the Trump administration, and they were released, classified information released about 3 weeks ago. So the Russians apparently are at it again. They were talking about Bucha, B-U-C-H-A, the atrocities in Bucha in Ukraine, northern Ukraine, right north of Kyiv, the capital city. Biden says Putin is a war criminal. He was asked by reporters. He said, if it was genocide, he said, no, it's war crimes. So that you can probably debate in your mind. Biden said he is seeking more sanctions because of these atrocities that were filmed and that occurred in Bucha. So probably most of the world has seen or begin to see a lot of what happened. The retreating Russian soldiers who lost. Apparently they were part of that vicious Wagner group, from Russia. They're an amalgamation of fighters that are trained by Russia, and they lost against the Ukrainian military. The Ukrainian military is tough. And on the way back, they gunned down all kind of citizens and tortured them, and there's evidence of rape, and they killed children, and you see bodies laying in the street all over the place. And some of them are handcuffed in the back. So terrible, just absolutely horrible. So as far as Russia goes, people in Russia I've seen on YouTube, language teachers and such, and people just posting videos, they're trying to leave Russia because you can't even get paid in Russia right now. So they're trying to leave Russia. I believe that's still going on because they know that their leader is bad news. Now, countries aren't going to be able to take a lot of Russians, so I think a lot of Russians that are in Russia aren't going to be able to leave, so they're trapped there. I know a lot of people probably don't feel bad for the Russians, but the U.S. strategy is to separate the Russian people from Putin, and that's what can hopefully bring Putin down. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fast. It's probably going to take a group of Russian generals to get together and take out Putin or arrest him. But President Biden wants the International War Crime Commission to go ahead and start that proceeding, which they have evidence now. They have a lot of evidence anyway. So that's where that stands. I don't think Zelensky's ever going to be able to sell a peace deal to his people because after what Putin has done with these civilians in Bucha. I mean, the Ukrainians want their land, and they're not going to accept Russia being in any part of their country, especially now after all that's happened. And then this added horrific atrocities in Bucha. Okay, as far as sports goes, NCAA tonight, 9 o'clock, University of North Carolina versus Kansas. Should be a really good game. Hopefully it's a fast-paced game and exciting to watch. So maybe you guys will tune in. So that's the update. Monday, April the 4th. You guys have a great rest of your day and night, and we will talk soon.